This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome into the 20-minute shot clock, our high school basketball podcast that we're also running on YouTube now. Your host, Alex Mastin here, representing WQSB, Fox Sports 102.9, and then, of course, Power 107.5, where we have been carrying some Marshall County basketball this season. So, obviously, that's why we are talking to the Guntersville girls basketball head coach, Kenny Hill. Kenny, thanks for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. It's kind of cold and dreary. It's like a basketball day.
I know, but I'm glad you have me, and I'm just really thankful for not just basketball, but girls basketball as well.
Well, I've loved watching your teams play the last 2 years. So, better than some boys' teams. So I'll say that for sure. But before we jump in here and talk about this year's team, which is obviously why we're here, this is the first time we're having you. We got to ask you about your playing career a little bit. Tell me about Kenny Hill as a basketball player at Scottsboro High School.
Well, I was a 3-year starter. Started out from 93 to 96. And from there, I went to Mercer University. Did not finish my career there. And then ended up graduating from Athens State University with a biology degree and history minor.
So when did you decide that coaching was the route? Is that something as a kid you want to do, or as you grew up as a player into the college ranks? When was coaching kind of something you wanted to do?
Probably my freshman year of college, I decided that I wasn't going to be able to play sports and go into veterinary medicine, which that's what I originally wanted to do. And I just kind of leaned toward a biology/science teacher and then coaching as well. So that kind of pulled me that direction. And I really wanted to stay around sports.
So then tell me a little bit about early in your career. I know that you went back to Scottsboro and took over the boys' job in 2013. Is that right?
Yes.
So what did you do between Athens and going back to Scottsboro?
Well, my first job, actually, Steve Savarese gave me my first job at Daphne High School, and I was a JV boys basketball coach, and I was the head track coach, and I did that for 4 years, and then I took a varsity assistant job with no JV duties at Tri-Cities High School in East Point, Georgia, right outside Atlanta, and that's where I got with a guy that I pretty much learned everything from, Albert Whedon Jr. And I worked with him there for a year, and then 5 years I was his assistant at Enterprise. And when he left in years after his 5th year Enterprise, I got the head job and was able to have 2 good seasons there and coached a kid that has his team at the Final Four this year, and Rhett Harrelson, who's the head coach at Enterprise High School now. So, and once I left Enterprise in 2013, I got the head boys job at Scottsboro and was there 7 years. And that put me at a total of 19 years on the boys' side. And then year 20, which was last year, and this year, year 21, I've been on the girls' side. So,
you knew that was going to be my next question. Yeah, you're leaving Scottsboro, your hometown, and decide to take the Guntersville job. Not only switching from boys to girls, but why the Guntersville job?
Well, it was one that intrigued me for a lot of reasons. It gives you a chance to coach your daughter, which originally she wasn't even coming. She was adamant with staying at Scottsboro, and I was going to allow her to do that. The other thing was, I was at Scottsboro for 7 years. That's I'm alumni there. I played there, and I just felt like, I was no longer the guy for the job there, and that they needed a new voice, a new person that could get them over the hump, because we would get to Jacksonville and get beat every time. And I just felt like, it's hearing the same voice. They need a new voice. And then put that together with the fact that, it was going to give me a chance to do something different, coach on the girls' side, try it out, then obviously get to coach my daughter. And, it's the best move I ever made. Guntersville has been amazing for me, my family, and coaching girls. It has not been as bad as everybody warned me about. So I really enjoyed the switch.
Well, I give you credit because I've been around basketball for a little while now, especially high school basketball, and coaches don't usually leave a school when they've got a chance to have a little bit more success. And you left a pretty good group there at Scottsboro that they've had a little success after you left as well. So I want to give you credit there. And you took the Guntersville job, and I think they were something like 5-23 the year before you got there. And I'd called some of those games, and I knew they had some young talent coming up. You could tell they were kind of going through the ringer, but they had a chance. Did the roster have anything to do with you taking over the job? Did you get to see those girls play at all before you took the job?
Yeah, I had seen them. We watched them. I always watched a little bit of the girls' games before our boys' games at Scottsboro, and at Scottsboro, it was really a situation where when I took that job, it was a bad job. Nobody else wanted it. That needed a lot of fix and never been to Jacksonville before. And when I left it, I think I was told they had 60 people that applied for the job. So I wanted to leave it better than I found it. And it was one of those things where, my heart had always been with Scottsboro boys basketball. And, that's what I was brought up on. So I didn't want to leave them in a bad situation. And, that's why it was easy for me to leave, because I knew whoever got them, they were going to be good, and not just good for 1 year, but they're going to have a good 3 to 4 year run, and then develop the younger kids and could continue that. So that's the thing that made it really easy. As far as coming to Guntersville and the Guntersville girl job, the Guntersville girl job was probably the only job I would have left Scottsboro for, just because of the way everything's set up here. They had younger talent, younger players that I could tell, even watching someone play in the AAU circuit at a young age, I could tell that like they were hungry and starving for something good. And I knew that once I was able to get that job, that we could build something. I didn't think it would really happen. Like, I didn't think we would just come in and be as good as we were last year. But after that, I had an idea that we could be really good this year. Even though we really don't have a lot of depth, we pretty much play 7 girls, and that's fine. We're getting the job done with those, but I just knew that the numbers weren't where they needed to be, and we needed to build the numbers up. But I thought we had the initial talent to play and do well. Just didn't know we'd do it this quick.
I'm with you. Last year, I figured, y'all would get better last year and then have a chance this year and then really next year to be y'all's big run. But you're definitely a little ahead of pace. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this year's team a little bit. It seemed like you scheduled pretty tough early on. Getting out of your area a little bit and playing some schools from other places and being willing to travel. And you hosted a tournament and had some folks up there, some good basketball teams. Was that just about getting ready for postseason, playing teams you'd have to go through later in the year? Kind of talk to me about your strategy when you're putting together a schedule.
Well, we try to find the teams based off how many seniors graduated versus how many young players they have coming back, and we kind of get an idea of who's going to be good and the style of play that they play. And we wanted to play teams that were going to be very similar, honestly, to Carver and Ramsey. And we played several teams like that I felt got us ready for that. And then you get to Jacksonville and you end up playing Carver, but you don't end up playing Ramsey. You play Sardis. So that's kind of how we do our schedule. We want to mimic some of the teams that we feel like we're going to play in postseason play. And I thought we did a pretty good job with the scheduling for that. And that's 100% how we do our schedule. And then obviously everybody wants to schedule teams that's going to bring fans and get you a gate and all that stuff. So we look at all those things when we schedule.
One thing I think you guys have done a good job is you kind of had the target on your back around here this year as far as getting ready for Marshall County. You kind of got screwed out of getting the Marshall County tournament last year. Then you got a chance to kind of be that team with everybody gunning for you. You guys have done a pretty good job all year of all the teams in the area. And really, not playing down to your competition, I'm saying there wasn't any good competition, but it seems like y'all are always ready to play no matter who was here. Big crowds from Albertville or Douglas or whoever comes in. Guntersville usually got going and got how they wanted to play. Is there any difference in going up when you're the favorite as opposed to this group that was 5-23, 2 years ago? How do you coach them differently, whether they're the underdog or they're the favorite?
Well, number one thing is, and I'll be honest, I'm not an Alabama fan, but I listen to a lot of Nick Saban's press conferences. And he's always talking about complacency, not having a letdown, all of that type of stuff. And with our girls, it was like, look, it's going to be difficult because people are gunning for you, not going to sneak up on anybody. You got a target on your back. People expect you to win. We didn't want to get into a situation where, like, we went to Brewer and only won, I think we won 44-40. And, people were kind of taking it like we lost. And I just had to remind the girls that, look, a win's a win. And sometimes you play good and win. Sometimes you don't play so well and win. But we're not going to, get down on you for winning games. And we're not going to get into that argument like, well, we should have won by 20 or 30. And that's kind of what happened at times this year. And we were able to get our girls to move past that and tell them that, look, at the end of the day, you got to win. And it doesn't always have to be pretty. And I can tell you, I didn't think the Carver win was pretty, but we won. We were able to survive and move on. And that's the mindset you kind of got to have, especially when everybody is expecting you to win and everybody has you favored. And if there were Vegas odds, it'd be a lot of money on you and that type of stuff. So it's tough when it's expected. And that's what's so great about Alabama. Even though they didn't win it this year, is that, they expected to win every game. That's tough. Chicago Bulls during their 2-3 peaks, that's why I tell people Michael Jordan's the best player ever, because he was expected to win, expected to be the best. And I kind of just told our girls not on that level, but just about every game you go in, people, you expected to win. How will you handle that? And you just got to have the mindset of, hey, it's 0-0 tip-off. We got to earn victory. And that's our goal, is just earn it every night.
Well, winning a basketball game at any level, especially varsity high school on up, is difficult. And I mean, you could just take one look at yesterday in college basketball and see, Auburn and Gonzaga and Kentucky, everybody going down. That there's no doubt about that. So let's go ahead and jump into Jacksonville a little bit. Like you said, you had some experience at Jacksonville as the head coach at Scottsboro, at least in regionals. I'm not sure if y'all were always at Jacksonville or over in Huntsville, but did you take anything from those games and those experiences? Did you do anything different? Talk to me about carrying it over to this girls team.
Well, at Scottsboro, we had got there 3 times, and we lost all 3 times. We lost to Shades Valley one year. We were in 6A. Then we lost to Talladega in a really, really close one. I felt like if we could have won that one, we probably went to the Final Four. It'd have been a rematch with Guntersville from the area championship game. And then we lost to Centerpoint the last time I went. And the thing that I knew was that when you get in those arenas, it's never a guarantee you're going to shoot it well. So you need to be tough defensively, tough on the rebounding, tough on 50-50 balls, and then you need to attack the rim and get to the free throw line some. And that's what I brought to our girls, is that we're going to have a tough mentality. And I told our girls, it don't matter how well we shoot it from the outside, we still going to find a way to score and win games. And on the bus over there, I was looking and I was thinking, oh, man, I'm the only person on the bus that's ever even – stepped foot on Jacksonville State's floor and played in a regional game, a coach in one. I said, none of our players had, none of our assistant coaches had. So obviously there were some nerves, but we just got our girls to play physical, and we put the game on the back of our defense.
Yeah, I was definitely going to get to that, but before moving on at all, just real quick, 48-46 win over Carver, and then the big win against Sardis, 42-12. I can't go another minute without mentioning Olivia Vandergriff. Let me just open the floor to you. Tell me a little bit about coaching her and just her skill set. And if people have never seen her play watching this show, a little bit about Olivia.
Well, I've coached a lot of good players, and, it's hard to rank her, but she's right at the top, especially as far as being an alpha. She's an alpha on the floor. She's going to go hard. Her work ethic is unrivaled. I mean, she's always in the gym, 6 a.m, getting work in. So when we got back from Jacksonville. The next morning, she was right back in the gym working on her game that morning before school. She's doing what other kids don't really want to do. She doesn't just show up and play big. She's put a lot of time and a lot of work. You got to remember, we finished the season last year against Carver, and she had scored a point. And that was hard on her. I mean, it bothered her, and she could have went in a shell and quit, but kept working, went right back to work. She made a switch to a tougher AAU team and played with the Stars. During the summer of 2020, UH told her she wasn't good enough. End of the summer 2021, they offer a full ride. So she's never took criticism or negativity the wrong way, and she always uses it to fuel herself. She's really, 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 really fun to coach. You can coach her hard. She doesn't get in her feelings. She doesn't pout. She doesn't get pouty. Her parents want her coached hard. I can get in her face. I mean, the whole nine. And sometimes I coach her harder than the other girls because she's our leader, and she just accepts it. And she has a true, genuine love for the game, and you couldn't ask for a better kid to coach in her.
Well, she's a joy to watch, and the little stuff too. Like you're saying, she's calling out defenses. She's talking to everybody on the team. She's calling out offenses. She's looking over at you, but she's running her play too. And I just really enjoy watching her play. Let's talk about the rest of your team a little bit. I see a lot of leadership, I feel like, in your team. Your daughter Briley, she's a leader out there. I think Lainey Phillips can be a leader at times out there. Is that something that's helping this team out a little bit? You said you only go about 7 deep, but they seem comfortable to be out there. They never seem too jittery in a way, and they seem like they think they deserve to be out there winning basketball games.
I tell you, we went to Carver last year, and we started 2 sophomores and 2 freshmen, and they weren't scared. I said, we all right. You walk in the metal detectors and, you get in that environment. It's a Sweet 16 game. It should be at Jacksonville State. I knew we had something special with that group because most kids would freak out or get a little intimidated going in the Carver, especially that young against a very different team that had been to the Final Four once with that group and was really on a run to win it all, which they did. My daughter, she's small, but she's a small pit bulldog and tough as nails. Almost got a little bully in her, and she don't really back down from nobody. Our girls know that, and she knows her role. Scoring ain't her thing. She scored 5 points the other day, and she was like, this ain't me. I'm playing defense, and I get us in offense and all that. But, 5 points was a lot for her. And she knows that, and she knows her role, and that's why she's been a special part to our team. Lainey Phillips, the same way. She's going to be after somebody. She has a lot of leadership. If somebody's not doing it wrong, she don't mind being the bad guy and letting them know, look, we got to do better than this. So our juniors are the backbone of our team. They provide the majority of our toughness and majority of our heart and will to win. And then you take Tazzy and Ivy, 2 sophomores that started as freshmen, and the talent, they're so talented. Ivy made the all-region team, and just really, really talented kids. And obviously Tazzy, 11 rebounds, didn't score a lot, but 11 rebounds, I think 4 blocks. Made it hard to get anything in the lane, held the big girl from Douglas, even though she got in some foul trouble early. She held the big girl from Douglas that had been scoring a lot. Or not Douglas, but Sardis that had been scoring a lot. Held her to, I want to say, 2 points or something like that. And obviously we held the whole team to 12 points, so that was a big feat in itself. But our girls are just tough. We have at least one game back when we played Arab in the third quarter. We held them to 1 point, and that was and they got that 1 point off of Tech, and then held Sardis to 4 points each quarter, and then in the fourth quarter held them to 0. So we've had some really good defensive quarters, and I really stress defense. And I tell our girls, never judge yourself off how many points you score or how you play offensively. I said, always judge yourself off of how hard you play when the ball is not in your hand. And that's whether you're going out to a 50-50 ball, playing defense, or whatever it may be. And I think it's clicked in their mind, and they understand that the pressure is on us to play hard without the ball, and take a little pressure off of you when the ball is in your hand, and that's when kids get nervous, is when the ball is in the hand. But they got to realize they're gonna play the majority of those 32 minutes. They're gonna play that without the ball in their hand, so it shouldn't be as much pressure as sometimes we put on ourselves.
I mean, that makes sense from watching your teams play. Obviously, the ball pressure is what jumps out to me. I should have mentioned Ivy earlier. She gets after you on defense. If you start looking at the stats, usually the big stat that Guntersville leads in is points off turnovers, getting turnovers and that sort of thing. Is that something that, just kind of going back to the beginning, you getting to Guntersville, was that something that was a challenge to get those girls to play? Because I've been in that coaching seat. Sometimes it's hard to get that consistent effort like that all the time. How did you get that flip to switch with them?
Well, I mean, when you come into a program that the way Guntersville was, it was, hadn't won much in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe longer than that. There's a lot of kids doing what they want to do and stuff like that. And, you gotta try to get a sense of pride, but then you gotta kind of, it can backfire on you, but and we've had several kids that say, this ain't for me. I'm not going to play. But we had to really turn the heat up on them and let it be known that every day you walk in this gym, it's going to be one of the hardest days of your life. And we're going to do everything the right way, the hard way. It's going to be tough. It's going to be run almost like a college program. And sometimes, you lose some kids, because some kids decided, I liked it the old way when it didn't matter and we was losing. And that's fine. But you get, 7 like we got, plus 3 others that came off the JV that moved up. And didn't mention Britt and Kendall. They dealt with some injuries and illness early on in the year, but I got as much confidence to put them in the game as any time in the year right now. So I'm proud of that. But that's what we had to do to get them to play hard, is we had to make every day tough and hard. And I had to find out, are you just out here because somebody else wants you out here, or because it's been easy, or whatever? Because we're going to find out quick if you really want to play and if you really want to win, because this is what it's going to take to win. So that's kind of how we got this thing rolling and got it started. And the backbone is always going to be those 4 seniors from last year. I wish they could be with us now, but they really, put this thing in motion for us to be where we are. And, it was Sarah Campbell. She was a heck of a leader last year. Jaden Watkins, heck of a player, probably finished the season as our best player last year, Carver. And then we had Heavenly Hundley, who had been through the whole program all the years with the different coaches. So it's Sarah Campbell. And then Landon, Phyllis Laney's sister. So those 4 girls were really, the backbone, because it really meant something to them, because it was their senior year and they wanted to end on something special. And that's kind of like they helped me more than I really helped them, because they wanted it so bad that, it affected our younger girls.
I love that you gave them credit. I think people forget to do that sometimes, and it wasn't all built this year. So I like that you did that. Well, without kind of further ado, let's jump into the games in Birmingham a little bit. So Wednesday, 3:00, Legacy Arena, Guntersville takes on Charles Henderson. How much do you know about the team? Have you been able to get some film and scout them and stuff? Tell me a little bit about Charles Henderson.
Well, they're kind of like us, 6-7 girls deep. They have a really good point guard. We played them this summer at Troy University's camp, so they're familiar with us. We're familiar with them. And it's one of those deals where because of our schedule, we've played, better teams like Hartselle, who beat us at Gulf Shores, and Mountain Brook and Foley and teams like that. But at the same time, we've lost to teams that I think they're better than, like Fairview, and then we lost to Albertville. So it's one of those deals where, you just got to be on your game. It can go either way. Like I said, that point guard, if she gets going, she could go for 30. It's going to be a great matchup with her and Olivia. I tell you, she's a really good player. And I think she's a 2023 kid too. So she's a junior and she's really good. They do have an advantage. They showed up at the Final Four last year with 0 seniors. And, they lost that first round game, but they have the experience. And, their coach has won state titles, I think in 2020 maybe 2019. Her daughter and the Davenport girl were basically all-state players that are playing in college now. So Charles Henderson has a tradition of getting to the Final Four. This may be 4 or 5 years in a row that they're getting to the Final Four. I'm not really sure, but that totally different mindset of kids come in. This is our first one. We're really, really, really excited, and it's probably their 6th or 7th one, and they're expected to be there. And it's going to be tough. We're going to have to battle. They're athletic. They're around basketball a lot. That coach is a really good coach. So we definitely have to be ready. Like I told our girls today, at the end of practice, you're going to win with defense, or you're going to lose because you didn't play defense the way you were supposed to.
I think that's a good message. You're right. If there's one thing that you didn't do as well as you wanted to at Jacksonville that you'd like to improve on a little bit to have some success in Birmingham, what would that be? The thing that jumps out to me is trying to get Tazie Harrison scoring column a little bit more. I know she was in foul trouble the first game, and you said she had like 11 or 12 rebounds in the second game. Is that something that might help, or is there any one area that you'd like to see picked up a little bit if you're going to compete in Birmingham?
I'd like for us to shoot the 3 ball a little bit better and make the open shots. We hit some timely threes, but we didn't necessarily shoot it well the whole time we were there, the 2 games. I'd like to see us, that first game finished a little better. We were up 12 and then got outscored 10 from that point. We were able to win by 2 points. But
Coach, I ran to the bathroom. I thought that thing was over, and I come back in and it's like a 4-point game. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, number 4, Destiny Nelson, she decided, she's a girl that's probably going to play in college. She decided that, hey, I don't want this thing to end. And she started playing her type of game. And she scored 21 points in the second half. And she scored 0 in the first half. So, and that was probably where the game turned. And we switched defenses and then had to switch back. And we just never could get her under control once she hit a few shots. So, that's the thing. Finish better, shoot the 3 ball better, and then other than that, I think we'll be fine. Far as Tazie goes, she'll get her looks. She just got to finish around the basket, that type of stuff, and she can score when she gets ready. She just got to take time and be confident in herself. But we're not stressing to her that she has to score. We're just stressing to her that, hey, protect the rim, play good defense, rebound the basketball, other stuff, it'll come.
Well, final question before I let you get out of here. Were y'all able to sew up Olivia's jersey? I think I saw her rip that sucker after she missed a free throw at Jacksonville.
Well, that's the thing. We have it getting sold up, but we actually found out yesterday in the Final Four coaches meeting that they had shared in Birmingham yesterday morning that all the teams in the Northeast teams and the Northwest teams are going to be the home team and wear white. So we'll be wearing white Wednesday. Not totally sure about if we win what it would be Saturday. So we'll get a little extra time to get that sold up. But we have it at a seamstress here in Guntersville, and they are definitely taking care of that. And that's the second time. See, it was already ripped at Fairview, and we got it stitched up. So that same lady is going to stitch it up for us. It's a friend of Butch Looney's, and she's going to stitch it up for us and take care of that. And I assume she'll have it ready by Monday. So, yeah, that's
I'm willing to bet you'd find her a new number if you had to, right?
Now, she's 0 now. She's 0. Oh, Olivia, she's 0. She's 0. That's we're superstitious, so we're going to roll with that.
Well, good luck on Wednesday. I appreciate you joining me today and spending some time talking a little high school hoops.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me, man. And best of luck to you and what you're doing. We definitely thank you for all the coverage and everything you've done for us, and definitely appreciate it, man. And other than that, man, I appreciate it. You have a good week, and go Cats.
Thank you. Go Cats.